Hello, everybody, and welcome to DCM, Doritos, Connections, and Mountain Dew, your favorite local video game talk show. I am your host, Howard Miller.
I'm your co-host, David Scrivani.
And today we have a new segment to introduce into the DCM cinematic universe called Roaring Retrospective, where we ask our in-house retro expert his thoughts and reviews on classic gaming staples. And speaking of our host, we have our best friend, podcast extraordinaire, future top-tier director, and retro game aficionado, Cecil the Lion. How's it going, buddy?
How's it going, Howard?
You know what? It's going good. What about you, Dave?
It's going pretty good.
Everything's good. Everything's peachy keen. Now, we've picked the easiest game for this segment because this is very impromptu. But we picked a game that we all know, we all played, and it's one of your favorite franchises, Doom. And considering the buzz about the game, we were wondering if we can get some of your thoughts on id Software's 2004 decisive release of Doom 3. So, Cecil, if you want to address our viewers with backstory of the franchise and what led you to this game and all that wonderful jazz, go for it.
So, believe it or not, Doom 3 is actually my first Doom game.
It was that was the popped cherry for Doom. It was Doom 3.
It was the turning point.
Because back then, Doom 1 and 2 were in DOS only. So around early 2000s, Halo kind of took the spotlight. Then when Doom 4 came back, I'm like, whoa, what is Doom? And my older brother who did play Doom 1 and 2 back in the day on the PlayStation, ironically, he's like, oh, dude, it's about how they opened a gate to hell. I was pretty much sold instantly in the concept.
So it was opening a gate to hell?
Yeah, that's how
That's
we
what drew
pitched
you
me.
to it. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Understandable.
Like hell, demons, that was the pretty much easiest pitch in the world.
And how can you give us an age range of how old you were when you'd made this extremely important decision?
So this was 2004. So I was I was 10.
You were 10. You know what? I don't think I had that thought process when I was 10. I don't think I was that cool yet.
See, I actually have no memory of when I first played Doom. I'm going on my dad's what's the word I'm looking for? My dad's testimony that when I was a small David, he would sit me on his lap at the old computer and we'd play the original Doom. I have absolutely no memory of this, but apparently it is a thing that happened.
Apparently that's a thing that happened. So Doom 3 is the first game. So why don't you give us some quick thoughts about the franchise as a whole?
Franchise as a whole?
Yeah, franchise as a whole.
I don't think there's really been a bad Doom game, not counting like the RPG spin-offs, but main entries, Doom 1, 2, 3, 64, Doom 3, the new ones, even Final Doom, it's more of an expansion pack, but I don't think there's been a bad Doom game to date.
So can you give us let's see if you can go for like a good 5 minutes, your review and thoughts of Doom 3. Explain it to people in a nice way because we're a game show that explains it to the common man.
I think what we should do first is, because Doom 3 is such a different experience from the rest of the series, I think we should have him explain that first.
Okay.
Before he goes into his critical thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty much every other Doom game, you run at like 100 miles per hour, shooting demons, finding the key card and exit. Doom 3 is more slower. It's more like almost like a movie, but think of like an early 2000s shooter, how it's more paced like Half-Life, level by level. And one of the most controversial features was it was dark and you had a flashlight, but no duct tape to your gun. So you had to choose between your gun or your flashlight, which, when I was a kid, I didn't mind it because I'm like, oh, look at all the cool graphics. It's, it really shows off the light. But
Keynote back then, they were cool graphics. Now they're ugly.
Well, to be fair, I think it was 8 years later, they re-released it under the also controversial BFG edition, which controversially adds the flashlight to your shoulder mount. And, you can toggle it anytime. So
how do you feel about being able to use the flashlight and your weapons?
After playing for a while, I do like it because it makes the pacing a lot faster. Doom 3 is a long game. It's probably longer than the rest of the games in the series. So
yeah. So I guess to explain this to the viewers, in the original Doom 3, the controversy is in the original Doom 3, it's a first-person shooter. So that means you hold a gun in front of you, of the character, and then you shoot something. But the game was a horror game, so you'd have to painfully have a flashlight and then switch to your gun because you can only hold apparently one thing at a time. And then BFG, they added the flashlight so you didn't have to hold it. It was just on.
Yeah, except just like Half-Life 1, it died after like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I actually saw a clip recently of John Carmack, the former game director at Software. The reason they had the flashlight as a separate thing is just the engine wasn't able to handle both the flashlight and the weapon out at the same time. like graphically, it just couldn't work.
That's pretty funny, actually.
And so everyone getting upset that the duct tape mod and the BFG edition ruins the experience. It's like, no, that was a necessary component. Like there was no way around that initially. Calm down.
Well, so some more fun news regarding the BFG edition from my friend was I just got a new monitor that supports 144 frames per second.
Yeah.
Doom 3 by the BFD edition by default goes up to 120 FPS. So it's the first time playing 120 FPS, and my PC's old, and it still managed to run the BFG edition at 120. I was like, this is really nice. It feels more like an arcade game, which is good. That nice arcade smoothness.
Okay. So now we have I think now is time that you should just review and give total thoughts about Doom 3. Just long, rambly, say everything you want in your head right now as it goes, and we are so going to gaslight you throughout the whole process. Go for it.
So my review of Doom 3, I give it like a 8.5 out of 10. It's it's a very good sized campaign. It's not short. People say it's 10 hours. I think, if you play like an actual game, take 20 hours. For a shooter, that's really long. There's plenty of stuff to explore. They have audio logs where you can, get more about the backstory. It's a nice way to extend the story without getting in the way. It's very... Other than that, pretty much every copy of Doom 3 now comes with the expansion pack and its mini expansion pack. So, yeah, you get plenty of content. It's open source just like the rest of A games up until Rage. So, plenty of mods. You get the Dark mod, which pretty much turns into, Thief 1. So, there's plenty of other mods out there, too.
How do you feel about the expansions? I
thought the Resurrection Evil, I liked it more because they brought back the double barrel shotgun.
A lot of people seem to like Resurrection of Evil more than the base campaign, myself included.
And they have I don't want to say a rip off the gravity gun, but they have like a gravity device. Now allegedly it was in development at the same time as Half-Life 2 and they had to cut it, so it's one of those they both happen at the same time kind of inventions, but
what are your thoughts on the award-winning The Lost Levels?
Lost Levels?
Yeah.
It's a nice little 4 hours. It's weird. It takes place during Doom, like regular Doom 3, but they add all the expansion stuff into it. They explain it away, but literally in Lost Missions, you have the gravity gun and the double barrel. I'm like, okay, it kind of breaks the story, but you know what? I like it. It does feel like an expansion pack.
Now, what are your thoughts on all the numerous multiplayer modes? Are you a real man who plays Doom 3 multiplayer? Or are you an absolute beta?
I missed out on that train.
You missed out on the train.
Because they took it out in the re-release editions. It's only in Doom 3 proper, which I don't have because I use GOG only.
Wow, you use GOG only.
And I think normal Doom 3 is not available on any platforms anymore. You can only get the BFG edition.
Wait, is it only BFG edition now?
I think it's on Steam though, the regular version.
Is it?
Okay. All right.
So for any folks who are looking for 2004 Doom 3, they have a source port called Doom 3. It's DHEW or something like that. Basically upgrades it to modern operating systems, and you can run the EAX sound mode, which adds pretty much 3 audio. Very essential.
Okay. So now, Cecil,
yes.
Some people, like me, hold the contentious opinion that this game is, quote unquote, trash.
Trash.
What are your thoughts on me gaslighting you?
I think you suck at the game.
I suck at the game.
Them's fighting words there.
You were scared.
That's what people say whenever I say Super Mario 64 is not like it hasn't aged well at all. They just say I'm bad at the game. No, I beat the game. I just think it didn't age well.
I agree.
Yeah. But however, Doom 3 is me in order to keep this meme of me gaslighting Cecil is trash. Any other opinion I said doesn't count. Even me saying it was fine doesn't count anymore.
I know why he hates it. He hated the shotgun.
A lot of people do.
Probably the most controversial part about Doom 3 now is the shotgun.
Now, can you explain why that's the most controversial part of Doom 3?
Basically, in every other Doom game, the shotgun is pretty much your main weapon. In this game, they changed it so it does horrible damage at long range. So you have to be sitting like 3 feet in front of the person to actually get like a one-hit kill, which it says in the description that it's not useful for long range. So, they explain that away.
All right, so now we're going to do something totally random and different. We want you to rank from like S tier to D tier all the mainline Doom games. Now I'll start from order, and you tell it what it is, and you explain why, okay?
Yep.
All right, so S, A, B, C, D. Doom 1.
That's an S.
That's an S tier. Now, why is it an S tier?
Because it was the first Doom, and the first Doom only had 3 episodes, and it's very, very focused. There's, very excellent use, great, episode 1, you have like the, human environments. Episode 2 is like a hybrid of hell and the human levels, and then 3 is outright hell. So great pacing,
And how do you feel about the 4th episode?
Fourth episode, sadly, the 4th episode is a C+ tier.
Ooh.
Wait. So even though it has a C tier thing, it's still S tier?
Well, to be fair, the 4th episode was added later. I think it was Doom 1 came out in 93. The 4th episode came out in 95 after Doom 2. It was just, they finally had it in like a box version. You could buy it retail, and they packed the 4th episode like, hey, buy this. It has a bonus episode. So
just to prod your mind, so if they did add that C tier episode, would the ranking go down? Would it be high A tier?
No, because it's completely optional. It's not like Duke Nukem where the worst episode's the 2nd episode and you have to play through it.
But that's like saying any level's optional.
No, it's just the 4th episode's added later, and pretty much Doom 1 ends after episode 3, so.
Dude, no one knows that the 4th episode was added later if they bought it like yesterday.
That's every copy of classic Doom now. It comes with the 4th episode.
Yeah, literally,
it's baked into the.
It's baked in. It's baked into the lore.
So Doom 1 is S tier with the giant asterisk mark next to it.
Okay. Doom 2.
Doom 2, A+.
Dude, it's an A tier.
Yes.
It's high A tier.
High A tier.
High A tier. Okay, now why is it high A tier? Not S tier.
Well, there's 30 levels, and more than half of them were designed by one guy, because at the time, Doom 2, John Romero, the series director, was off deathmatch, and so most of the grunt work fell on Sandy Peterson, and you can tell he got burned out after a while. Towards the end, when you're in the city levels, you could really tell that they're burnt out. So
I like the city levels of Doom 2.
But they're just huge. They're very good, but they're just that's the point where,
So you're saying that it's disappointed because it's huge?
I'm just saying they could have cut a few levels to make it stronger, but
Cut it down a few inches, some might say.
yes.
Okay, so where does Doom 3 go in the tier ranking?
Well, shouldn't we do it via order of release?
What's the name? Oh, Final Doom.
Final Doom.
If you like, you can split it up between Plutonian Experiment and TNT. If that makes the ranking more easier.
Yeah, where's Final Doom in the ranking?
Final Doom B. Because at that point, it's just
Both of them or separately?
TNT was just awful.
All right, so is that a D tier?
Yes, that is a D tier.
Is it D? Do we need to introduce an F tier?
F tier? No, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's D tier. Now,
I'd say 50% of Plutonian is very good. Not TNT, sorry.
Fight, boys, fight.
So I'd rank Plutonia high B. It's just very hard.
High B.
It's just at that point
It's controversial.
It added nothing. There's no new enemies. There's a lot of new levels, but at that point it was 96. Quake was coming out. Doom was over the bridge. Classic Doom, at least.
Interesting. See, I know a lot of people who would say the Plutonian Experiment is like the best of the classic Doom games.
Wow. I was half paying attention because there are 2 new words to me in my vocabulary. So he gave a B tier and S tier?
He gave an S tier, a B tier.
Oh, he gave an S tier, a B tier.
Yes.
Oh.
Now my ranking is because it didn't add anything new to it, just more missions. That's kind of
No, it's hard to add new things to a game like that until like people got really experimental in the
at
late
least
2000s.
Doom 2 had new enemies.
Yeah,
So-
but they were working with the code they had. They didn't have the tools with which to create new code at that point.
No, you could have added new enemies to Final Doom.
Yes, but
Plutonia was an official license expansion
is.
pack. Then controversially, TNT was supposed to be a mod that was turned into a paid mod later. So
I would rather have not paid for TNT.
So yeah, Doom 1, S with a giant asterisk.
Okay.
Doom 2, high A. Plutonic Experiment, high B.
Okay.
TNT, D.
TNT D. Now, is that a high D or a low D?
High D.
High D. Don't laugh. That was an actual question. There was no innuendo there.
I wasn't laughing at the innuendo, at the
Now,
non-innuendo.
sadly, I've not played Doom 64, so I can't rate it.
Doom 64 is untiered. Trash fan. Trash fan.
I can tier it if you like.
No, we're not asking. You're not the aficionado. Get with the program. Okay, but you can tier it. What do you want to tier it?
I tier Doom 64 A.
A? Okay, that's wonderful. That's a nice tier. Doom 3.
High B.
What the?
So why is Doom 3 a high B?
Yeah, why is Doom 3 a high B?
Well, the levels were smaller, so there's always that. It had the disadvantage of being made in mid 2000s. At that point, shooters were kind of, I don't want to say in the gutter, but more taking a rest. It was more like COD shooters at that point. So boomer shooters won't come back till later. It's just there's some like early mid 2000s trends that made their way in there that just I don't like. Mainly all the voice actors. Steve Bloom is everywhere.
You don't like the Toonami guy being in your video game?
He's just overexposed.
He's overexposed?
He's not bad. He just needs to turn down a paycheck or two.
Yeah. So it's a high B.
Yep.
Disgusting. What about 2016?
2016?
Yes.
I'll almost rate that an S. It's definitely in the high A's.
It's a high A, borderline low S.
Yes.
And why?
Because it was perfect. They added the center weapon options, and then just turned to, it was pretty much Doom 1, but this time, reimagined how do you like. It's just perfect shooter.
Okay. And okay. So Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. I haven't beaten it. I've played a good chunk of it. Right now it's an S category. So I'll have to see later on if it bombs down to A, but as of right now, it's an S category.
It's in the S category. So can you give me a quick explanation why Doom Eternal is somehow better than Doom 2016?
They just add more stuff to it. They have new weapons, new abilities, new monsters.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like is that they did a Doom 3 thing where they try to address the shotgun, so that's not 90% of what you're using. So they added a lot of low ammo
I'd
counts.
say that's a good thing.
It's, if you just want to shoot stuff in the face, you're gonna have to mix up.
Are you one of the people who thinks Doom Eternal doesn't allow you to be creative?
No, it forces you to be creative.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's not creative, but it's like, for example, Doom 2016, you can turn the glory kill highlights off and just shoot it like a regular Doom game. So
But why would you turn the glory kills off?
they just get boring after a while.
No, they don't. Not if you. Are you the dude that just kept going like you'd walk and you saw that prompt that says, "Hey, if you aim at different body parts, you get a different glory kill," and you were just like, "That'd be funny if I knew how to read," and you just kept going for the torso every time.
No, I went for different ones because I did the rune challenges.
Interesting. Now, the reason we bring up Doom 3 is because it just recently got a port.
Got the VR edition.
It got a VR edition. So
Only available on PlayStation 4.
Only
Not
available.
even PC.
Not even PC. So we would just like your just general thoughts on now a 15-year-old game being brought into VR in 2021.
Well, to be fair, there were Doom 3 VR demos way back in the early 2010s. Pretty much John Carmack got candid. They wouldn't let him do the VR edition, so.
And now he's working for Oculus.
Yep. Now they realized that it was a terrible mistake. Half-Life Alyx came out and proved that, hey, you can have the AAA VR game in VR. It's like, hey, let's revisit it. So, I don't have a VR headset yet, but I'm very optimistic about it, especially Doom 3, paving the way. It's open source, so they'll probably will add to PC because it's now owned by Microsoft, so it's got plenty of potential. So it's like the first start. Obviously, they're going to update the game and add new stuff to it. So,
All right, so those are your thoughts. So I went out of my way and found some reviews of Doom 3 VR, and I found a lot of them are mixed. So I brought the most scathing reviews to get your reaction of it. Okay? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's one from IGN. I'll just give the verdict because reading is stupid. Basically, the big tagline, the big moral that they want is Doom 3's strafe-heavy movement is natural in 2D, but absolutely nauseating in VR.
Strafe? I mean, the whole point is you can peek around corners in VR, so I guess, IGN, they have not exactly the best gamers on the planet. They can't beat Cuphead.
Yeah,
They can't beat the tutorial of Cuphead.
A PSVR adaptation of a classic as highly esteemed as Doom 3 sounds great in concept, but this port is hurt by its stubborn adherence to the original. It refuses to rebalance its keyboard and gamepad-friendly demon slaying for motion controls, while also adding very little outside of frights that demand you to experience its world in a virtual reality. While a few of its slower, tenser moments do highlight some of VR's charm, they feel almost coincidental when you then are forced to strafe around in intense 360-degree firefights that don't feel very good while locked into a forward-facing PSVR headset.
He's probably talking about later on when you have to fight some of the bigger monsters.
Mm-hmm.
That part, I remember after you escape Hell in Doom 3, that's when they really dial up the action. That's when it feels like Doom 1 and 2. So
does the footage look nauseating, or like what's going on there?
it depends who's playing it. Like I saw footage of some people and they were whipping their head around like this. I'm like, ooh, how can you do that? Other people, being very modest, they'll, slow turn in. So, like I said, it just came out. They'll obviously have patches to address some of the stuff. So, until I actually play Doom 3 VR for myself, I can't really give it a verdict.
So we just got one last review. Now, this is from an actual website that all they do is just VR stuff, right? It's called Upload VR.
Yep.
Okay.
And they hated it, right?
Well, they didn't hate it. The IGN review is more scathing. They gave it a 2 out of 5 stars.
IGN?
No. Upload
VR.
did.
Upload?
IGN didn't really give it a score.
Really?
Yeah. So basically, I'll just do their verdict because we're kind of going on time here. But their tagline is Doom 3 VR Edition, a serviceable port of a game never intended for VR.
It came out 15 years before like VR was mainstream. So,
But do you think that they could have done something better to make it more immersive?
yeah, because I was watching footage and the PDA that you get in the game is not like retrofitted for VR. It's just, the screen.
Yeah. Actually, dude, they have pros and cons bullet points. What a savior. Okay. Pros: full Doom 3 experience with 15 plus hours of gameplay. Some encounters feel creepier in VR, and firing a shotgun with PSVR aim controller feels great. Negatives: PC shooter gameplay doesn't play to VR's strength. World scaling feels off, making you seem kind of giant, and it doesn't measure up to some of the PC/Quest mods of the same game.
Well, they've had Doom 3 VR mods for a while, so it's like I said, give it time. They will officially port it to PC. I know that, and because it's open source, can't wait to see all the crazy stuff people come up with for it.
Okay. And that's all you have to say? Do you have anything left?
Nope.
Okay. And that is our wrap for this segment. If you like this segment, make sure you comment down below or just drop a like at the very low cost of $0, 0 cents. FREE free, baby. Cecil will be back in
1 month.
What?
1 month.
Yeah, 1 month. Cecil will be back in a month with another episode of Roaring Retrospective with a new game to take a dissective look at it. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, or you can follow our Twitter at DCM Game Show. And Cecil, please tell us all of your links to your projects.
You can follow my channel on BCD YouTube. I'll send you the link later in the text message.
Anything else? Come on, you gotta have more delinkies. Come
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
No, I'm not one of those people like, link, and subscribe. That's just like the kiss of death. I hate that.
No, you need those infos so we can prop you up as our golden boy.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Mountain Dew and Doritos.
If we get sponsored by them, oh my god. No. All right. And with that out of the way, I'm Howard.
I'm David.
And I'm Cecil.
And that's the end of our segment. Good night, everybody.